Hey guys, in this video we're going to take a look at the levels of organization within the body. How the body is organized, starting with the cell all the way up through the complete organism. We call this the building blocks of the body. Very similar how a house is built with bricks and walls and a roof and so forth. So we're going to look at that organization in this video. So our smallest beginning part is the cell. We learned from cell theory that cells are the basic structure and function in living things. The most basic structure within living things, the cell. Okay, so we start off with cells. Here I've got some examples of cells. I've got muscle cell, connective tissue cell, red blood cell, bone cell, and so forth. Now, when I have a bunch of cells working together, a bunch of similar cells working together, maybe like a bunch of red blood cells working together, I get a tissue. So cells working together create a tissue, muscle tissue, okay, bone tissue, brain tissue, blood is a tissue, okay. So I've got cells, a bunch of similar cells working together, I get tissues. If I have similar tissues working together, like a bunch of muscle tissues working together, I'm going to get an organ, okay, muscle, the bicep being a muscle organ. Or if I have a bunch of similar lung tissues working together, I get the lung organ. So we have cells, a bunch of similar cells working together, we get tissues, a bunch of similar tissues working together, then we get organs. Now, if I have a bunch of organs working together to perform the same goal, that have the same task, I have a organ system. Okay, so if I take the heart with the blood vessels, the arteries, veins, and capillaries, I get the circulatory system. If I have the lungs, the trachea, the bronchioles, the diaphragm, I get the respiratory system. If I have the brain, the spinal cord, the nerves, I get the nervous system. Now, if I take all those systems and I put all those systems together, the nervous system, the respiratory system, the digestive system, all those systems together, I last get an organism. The complete package, the final deal. Okay, an organism like a human, like a dog, okay, like a fish. Okay, the overall organism. So we started off with the cell being the smallest, the most basic building block. I take cells, similar cells, and put them together. I get tissues, similar tissues together. I get organs, organs that share the same goal or same function. I get an organ system, and then all the organ systems working together, I get an organism. So let's look at this real quick review here. So we start off with, again, the cell. So here is our cell. Okay, that is step number one. That is the smallest, most basic component of the body. Bunch of cells working together, common cells. It would have to be a bunch of red blood cells working together or a bunch of skin cells working together. I get a tissue. That's step number two. Working up, building our way upwards, I get a bunch of similar tissues working together. I get an organ. That's step three. I get a bunch of organs working together to perform the same task, that have the same goal. I get an organ system. So that's step four. And then lastly, if I have all these organ systems working together, okay, in order to help the overall organism function, I get the final product, which is the organism, step five. Okay, so one last time. Cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, and organisms.